spent our first night in the cabins at the Rose Ranch Resort. This is a great place to start your Paiute Trail adventure. They're located in Marysvale, just off Highway 89. They have cabins for rent, a campground, RV spaces with full hookups, and they rent ATVs and side-by-sides. This especially came in handy for us because we have mechanical issues with one of our ATVs. Luckily, we were able to rent an ATV from Nathan at the Rose Ranch Resort and get out on the trails without it slowing us down. Be sure to check them out on their website at roseranchresort.com. And when you make your reservation, tell them the Washington ATV Association sent you. Before hitting the trail, we stopped off for breakfast in Marysvale, and we ran into someone we've been watching and admiring on YouTube for years, Doug Meyer of ATV Television. Boy, you got to check out his videos covering the Paiute Trail on his site at atvtv.com. And so after a quick bite, we took the O2 Trail out of Marysville and connected a few more roads to arrive at the 50-inch Barney Lake Trail. You see, one of the great things about this area is that the towns along the Paiute Trail have opened up their roads to ATVs. This allows you to combine roads and trails to make long day rides, or as we did, a week-long camp trip without having to trailer your ATV. Once we left the vehicles at the Rose Ranch Resort on Monday, we didn't return until Thursday night after several hundred miles of riding. Heck, just riding out to the Barney Lake trailhead was an adventure in itself, with amazing views of the canyons below. The Barney Lake trailhead is located off Anderson Road, also known as Forest Service Road 1185. To get directions from Marysvale to the trailhead, type in these coordinates on Google Maps.
It's John again, Washington ATV. Day number 2. Just to recap, we finished off the day, traveled into Marysvale, stayed at the Rose Ranch Resort, stayed in one of their cabins. Pretty nice place. So today we're on a 50-inch trail headed to Barney Lake. We're just approaching the 10,000 foot mark, getting into a nice crop of aspen trees, and let's hit the trail.
50-inch Barney Lake Trail is a must-do. It saves several miles of road riding and is one of the fastest way to get into the Monroe Mountains. You start off in some fields, then quickly climb in elevation until you reach the aspen and evergreen trees. This is where the trail really gets going. It has some steep hill climbs where you're going to need your four-wheel drive, so be sure and take it slow and allow some extra time for several stops to take pictures and give yourself a rest.
Here we are at Barney Lake. Man, you talk about some good riding to get here. We're currently sitting at 10,250 feet. You need to allow yourself about 2 hours to get here from down in Marysville. Once we got on the 50-inch trails, it became a lot slower moving, more rocks. You talk about low gear, four-wheel drive type riding. With any experience at all, though, you're not going to have any problems at all. Just take your time. It's really scenic. We went through probably 3 or 4 great meadows, had a great view from up on this hill back here of this lake and all the surrounding mountains. If you're going to stop and take in some scenery, you definitely want to allow yourself about 2 hours to get here. Our next adventure, we're headed up to the 01. We're going to connect with Trail 89. Now 89 is a 50-inch trail, so it's a good thing we traded out the Rhino for a rental from the Rose Ranch Resort. We got a Honda. It's got power steering. I'm loving it. Great riding if you got a 50-inch.
Trail 89 is one of those great 50-inch trails. There are posts at the trailhead that are 50 inches wide. So if you're wider than 50 inches, you ain't getting on the trail. So be sure to plan an alternate route and meetup location. Even if your group rides the same route, it's always a good idea to make sure everyone knows what trails you will be taking, because not everyone rides at the same pace. For us, we would always stop at intersections to make sure that everyone took the right trail. This also gave us slower riders a chance to catch up with the faster ones. And hey, with all of this amazing scenery, who wants to be in a hurry anyways? The trail's nice and smooth for the most part and suitable for riders of all skill levels. It has quite a variety of scenery, ranging from rolling meadows to dense evergreen and aspen forest. If you're going to be riding up in the Monroe Mountains on an ATV, you gotta be sure Trail 89 is on your gotta do list.
One of the great things about the Paiute Trail system is you can disperse camp anywhere. We're currently on Trail 89, and just like any other trail, you randomly come across a campsite that other people decided was a good place. There's a fire ring at this one, and someone had actually lashed some large tree logs to the limb, so it gives you a way to raise your food off the ground, or if you wanted to make a lean-to tarp or things like that nature. There is occasionally some things that people are leaving their mark on that maybe you want to pick up and take with you. You know, keep the trash off the ground, things like that. For the most part, you show up here, it's a ready-made campsite. You know, all you have to do is decide where you're going to go.
So from Trail 89, we took Trail 78 to the top of Monroe Peak at an elevation of 11,226 feet. Be sure you have a sweatshirt handy, because even in August, it gets cold up there. Now, have you take note of the clouds forming in the sky, because we sure didn't. When we arrived at the Monroe Peak, the winds picked up and a storm was approaching. All it took was a little thunder and we were heading back down to the tree line to try and make a quick shelter.
This may look a little weird, but this is a makeshift rain shelter that we made. We put this up in about 5 minutes. We went to the top of a mountain, saw this storm coming at us, so we quickly put 2 ATVs together with some clips, zip ties, and some stakes. We got this tarp to get under. The storm should be moving this direction, so we're hoping it'll protect us from the rain. I noticed the sun is out, but also the rain's coming down. I think it's going to start raining harder based on what we saw on the other side of the mountain, so we'll just have to wait and see. But this is definitely something to keep in mind. You can put on rain suits all day long, but to get out of the wind and the blowing rain is always a good thing, so be prepared.
By the time the storm passed, it was getting pretty late, so we headed off to Monroe Peak and made our way back down the 01 to find a campsite for the night. We found a place on 01 that already had a fire ring and was perfect for us to kick back for the night. After riding nearly 80 miles and waiting out a storm, sitting around the campfire, watching the stars and satellites overhead sure was a great way to end a great day of riding. Be sure to check out day 3 of our 5-part series as we cross the valley and climb into the Toucher Mountains. Stay tuned, because we're only getting started on this adventure.